So hello and welcome. So good to see you again. I'm here today. I'm really thrilled to be here with Jae Hoon. And Jae Hoon is a professional dancer and also a Pilates teacher practitioner here at PCA. So it's wonderful to work with you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
You're welcome. We have this little tensegrity model with us because we're going to really be addressing something that's a concern for Jae Hoon, which is a knee injury. And we're going to be looking together with you at the standing Pilates footwork, which traditionally, at least when I originally learned it classically, we would automatically go to end range all the way onto the ball of the foot. You'll see how we're going to explore that a little differently. And actually, because Jae Hoon understands those distinctions very, very well from a dance perspective and from our work together, we're going to speak to you in a way, and he and I will be talking back and forth as he's experiencing what the movements as we move from one to the other. So you'll see how that will be really interesting. But first, I'd like you just to say a little about just what occurred and what you feel in your knee and what's some of the compensations that you notice.
So over the years of dancing, I've injured my knee several times, and I've gone through 3 knee surgeries on my left knee. I had an ACL reconstruction, lateral meniscus repair, and medial meniscus repair. And now I've once again torn lateral meniscus, posterior side of it. So the trouble that I'm having is weight bearing as I'm bending my knees in dance term plie, and any weight that is put on, any excess weight. So I'm having trouble running, jumping, or pivoting. Yeah, and I'm feeling the clicking and the swelling.
Perfect. Thank you for that setup. So this is an experience that his body is having right now, and what we're really going to look at is how does the way that the fascial support. Remember that we're studying how fascia supports muscles and bones. The body knows itself as a whole system, rather than at pieces and parts. So even though that meniscus is torn, there are other deep layers, and that's superficial to deep, that will continue to repair and to support the knee if what you do is work within a range that allows the body to begin to discover a new way of relating ankle, knee, hip, pelvis, spine. How does it all relate in movement? So we're going to look at this together. Come see. So the setup is that you can see that Jae Hoon is standing at the wall, and basically say a little bit, Jae Hoon, about what down the back feels like to you as you put your hands against the wall. What are you looking for as far as getting a sense of gravity releasing down from your hands through your shoulder blades to your feet?
So I'm looking to experience this down the back, this energetic waterfall gliding down, connecting my body as a whole. So when I'm bending my knees, where I bend my ankles and knees, I am feeling the connection throughout my whole body, from my head down to my feet, instead of feeling this regional stress or compartmentalized stress in my hips, in my ankles and knees. So
that's excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. So I'm going to put this little ball right here because I asked Jae Hoon, what size of ball felt good to him, and this gives more of a heel to heel connection. Sometimes you could put maybe a Gertie ball or something that gives more surface up. You'll see what feels better to your body. Your body will tell you. That's what we're studying, biointelligence. How does our body tell us what it wants when we're using a prop How does a prop create communication? This is not a crutch. This is a communicator to the body's various pieces and parts that know, all they know is wholeness. So we're going to begin by having a sense of the release down. What we want is you want a sense of softening the ankle. This is how we study squats also. How does your ankle soften back as your knee goes forward? It isn't just about your knee going over the center of your foot. It's about your heel releasing back so your gastroc releases. And he's only going just as far to feel that sit bone to heel connection. Is that something that feels real to you,
Yes.
Jae Hoon? So that sit bone to heel connection is pelvis to feet, supporting his knee. Inner thigh wakes up, heel, gastroc releases down. From here, allow your inhale, exhale and relax into your feet. And as he's relaxing into his feet, if you have a partner helping you with this, straighten your legs and just feel, I'm giving him just a feeling of melting down so that his knees don't hyperextend back. And like you were saying, you didn't really think of yourself as someone who would hyperextend.
That's right.
Your legs, because it's so subtle for
Yes. But as my doctors and physical therapists have informed me that I have hyperextended knees, and I have been kind of forcing it throughout my dance career, because that's the aesthetics in dance, slightly hyperextended knees.
Yeah. So what's interesting is that if what you do is in your practice, you don't hyperextend, you actually give your body a whole body experience, then you can go to end range and to slight hyperextension in other practices, and it won't be as damaging because the body understands the first way. So let's do that one more time. As you bend your knees, feel your heels go back. Notice how I'm giving just a little bit of a sense of back. And sit bone to heel, and inhale, exhale, and straighten. Right. So there's the first piece where we've got ankle, knee, hip, inflection. And now go up. Lift onto the ball of the feet. As you float onto the ball of the feet, he's only going to wear, and I come down just a little bit, and you'll feel... Now, what did you notice right there as I asked you to come down just a little bit?
Yeah, I noticed my weight spreading through the balls of my feet and widening the front of my feet and relaxing the ankles. And by lowering my heels, I felt expansion in the front of my hips as this is weighing down. This is getting heavier. Really
excellent. And we call that the hover. The hover of the foot. It's the hover of the heel because it actually wakes up the domes of uplift, the lift of the inner ankle, the lift through the pelvic floor, the lift through the diaphragm, the lift through the thoracic armpit, chest, thoracic inlet, and then the lift through the palate. How do the domes wake up? So allow your inhale there, exhale and release down. So that's just a hover where you're going on to the ball of the foot as you lift, but feeling through the lift of the inner ankle. Now let's combine the two. So there's your first piece. This is your second piece. Now here's the third one that you do. And you do each one of them about 3 times, but we're going through them so that you can see each. So here we're going back to the first one, but now from this bend and reach back through the heel, he's going to go into the hover. Now let your heels release down a tiny bit. Yes, and you'll find that sit bone to heel, back of the leg connecting to the front of the spine, and then from there you stand up. That's it. So you're getting the down to give you lift and release. Beautiful. That's the third one. And then the last one is coming up onto the dome, lifts. Keep the hover as you bend your knees. Keep feeling that heel releasing back and the hover of the heavy heel. Beautiful. Sit bone to heel. From there, release your heels down, and from there, stand up, feeling your whole foot, sensing the release through. Beautiful. Yes. And the lift. And what do you notice about that, Jae Hoon?
The sense of connection. So this releve is not just happening in my lower extremities, but also it is connecting through my spine, aligning my hips and my knees and ankles in a column that is comfortable.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Does it give you a feeling, I'm curious, does it give you a feeling of your hips naturally opening?
Certainly. Yeah, as I was experiencing here, and I'm feeling the expansion of my hips as I am lowering and lifting my heels.
This is very different than having to stretch your hips opening, because this is a very different way of looking at when we get the two directions of the spine, the tail releasing down, which is what heavy heel is all about. That's you down the back, and the lift up the front, so inner ear is lifting. Then what happens is that the hip socket opens when you bend your knees, because this is releasing. You see how it gives you a softness through the front of the hip, which is very different than gripping the hip flexors to try to control, and then you have to be constantly stretching your hip flexors. So it's a very different way of rebalancing your body. And then just see what you notice as far as just keeping your tail heavy and bending one knee, bend the other knee, floating the knee with a heavy tail. What does it feel like to just move from that feeling that you've just experienced? How does your knee feel? How does your body feel?
I feel lighter, and it's almost effortless and well supported. Yeah.
Yeah. And your knee looks like it's just much more connected to your whole body.
Yes, certainly. Yes, because as a dancer, I'm used to turning out and really gripping the front of my ankles to bend my knees and go through the pliés. And now I'm connecting more with my adductors.
Yes.
And I'm feeling the lift here. And as you can see, the top of my ankles are not tensed.
And this is so beautiful, because what you're really speaking about, because dancers are athletes, you know, and so this is just a way of being in our body whole, in a full body way. And it's so powerful what you're saying, because when we allow that softness, here's a grounded place to come from. When we allow the softness, it's centered in a biointelligent way of being with our body, biotensegrity, a whole body approach. So rather than core control, we've looked at, which is a more biomechanical, concentrated approach to the abdominals. The abdominals become spatial and more of a core coordination approach to movement, is a more updated way of looking at a deep tensegrity understanding, a fascial understanding of the body, which we didn't know a lot about years and years ago. So wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for being here. It's fabulous.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
Always a pleasure. See you soon. Love to hear your feedback. Great.
High five.
Wasn't that fun?
Oh, it was fun.